All right, guys, it's really nice out today, and so I decided I would go ahead and do an outdoor houseplant tour. I've started repotting most of the plants back there directly into their decorative pot. I'm gonna start on this side over here. So this right here is my Euphorbia fire sticks, and this is a giant. I got this from Home Depot at least a year ago, and I've already cut this a few times on the top because it's growing so much. And this part up here is like really thick, really thick. So I'm probably gonna be cutting that again soon. This gets really pretty when it's sun stressed. It gets like the orangey color to it. I don't know if you can see right there. It's starting, but when it gets direct sunlight, it gets a lot more orangey. All right, so over here is my fiddly fig bambino. You can see that the leaves are smaller than a normal fiddly fig. I had gotten this from Walmart on clearance over a year ago, and it's grown really tall. I have repotted it, but I think I need to repot it again. At one point, it did lose a lot of leaves on the lower stems, and so I kind of trained it so that it has most of its leaves on the top. Right now, it's not looking all that happy, so I do think I need to repot it and fertilize soon. If you look closely, I also have a Rhaphidophora heyi right there in the pot, and it's growing so much that it's actually vining all the way up the fiddly fig. And so, yeah, I just left it like that, but I'm probably gonna have to detangle it when I get ready to repot, or maybe not. There's actually a plant growing on the front and the back of that plank. And since I have it outside, I just didn't even bother with getting another plank because it's growing naturally onto something else outside anyway. This right here is a Monstera Deliciosa, and this was also a clearance find at Home Depot. I just recently repotted this, and it's doing good. Some of these leaves on the bottom are kind of droopy, but that's fine. It's come a long way since I bought it from the store. Okay, over here, this is my Philodendron subhaustatum, and this is the leaf from the main plant that I had. This is the only leaf left, and the reason why it's outside right now is because it was down to this last leaf and I wanted to give it a second chance. Ever since I put it out here, it's growing this whole new section. All these new leaves. Look at this new leaf right here. This whole thing is new since I put it outside. You can see the red on the back of the leaves. So this is doing really well since I moved it outside. Now here is my Alocasia zebrina, and you guys probably remember this from when we had that cold front, and I had to cut it back to I think 1 or 2 leaves, and I was so sad because this plant was thriving before I had to cut it back, and it was like my favorite plant outside. But I'm happy to say it has grown all these new leaves, and it's doing really well. So this is the newest leaf that's opening right now, and I'm so happy with this. So glad it came back. Make sure you don't give up on your alocasias if you think that they're dying for whatever reason. because they have the corms, and usually if you cut them back, they'll grow right back. Even if you don't see any leaves, just keep watering it and caring for it like you normally do, and it'll come right back. This is a Ficus elastica taniki. I had purchased this from Home Depot not too long ago, and I had it in the front yard. It was doing really well, and then all of a sudden the leaves started drooping. So I had to remove it from the original nursery pot, and I repotted it. So ever since I repotted it, which was about a week ago, the leaves are starting to stand up more, slowly but surely. You could see there's a new leaf coming out right here. So this is coming back. And I potted it in a large pot because these plants tend to get root bound quickly, and they like a lot of space. All right, down here is my Alocasia Tiny Dancer. I got this from Home Depot in Key West. And this was actually a really good buy. I can't remember, but I think it was about $15. I thought it was so cute. So yeah, I got this here. Okay, you might see some crotons in the background. Those are actually planted directly into the ground. We potted a few of these when we first moved here, and also some foxtail ferns. So those are directly in the ground. All right, moving on, here is my philodendron painted lady. So you guys might remember this from my video. I'll link it above, where I had gotten this at a really good deal, and I had it inside. But because of this beautiful bright yellow color, this plant requires a lot of indirect sunlight, and I decided to move it outside because I didn't want to lose it. Since I've moved it outside, it has been pushing off new leaves, and you can see this right here is one of the newer leaves on the top. Such a beautiful yellow color. And there's also a new one coming out right here. It's on a moss pole, so it's clinging to that and growing upward. But this is doing really well outside, and it also looks like it has a new plant coming out here. Okay, right behind that is my Philodendron Florida Beauty. I had gotten this from a local garden center called Living Color Garden Center. And when I got it, the first thing I noticed is that it had this little bit of sport variegation on the leaf. And this seemed to be an older plant, but I bought it anyway because it was so big and it was a really good deal. So most of the bottom leaves are older leaves, but since I got it, it's been pushing out all these beautiful new leaves. And I've also seen a little bit more sport variegation on one of these leaves. Not really sure exactly which one. But yeah, this one's doing great outside. And I have all these plants out here under an umbrella. So for the most part, it gets nice indirect sunlight, and the leaves don't burn as easily. All right, moving over, I have this aloe. I've had this for years now. I'll put the name on the screen. I think it's a hedgehog aloe. And then over here I have a Stromanthi Trio Star. These are very common here in South Florida. They're used a lot in landscaping, and it just adds to the tropical vibes of the outdoor garden. Let me show you something down here. I actually have, let's see, I have a poinsettia from Christmas that I put out here, and it's doing well out here. Just, there it is. This is part of it. So yeah, there's a little poinsettia in there, adding a little bit of color to the mix as well. Okay, over here is a Homelamina Emerald Gem. And I got this from Lowe's. It was in the clearance section, and there weren't that many leaves on it at the time, but since I put it out here, all this back here has grown. Those are all new leaves. These right here, I'm gonna trim off actually. Those are part of the original leaves and they don't look all that good. So I'm gonna trim those off, but look at all this beautiful new growth. Okay, here, this is my Alocasia Regal Shields. I got this one from Lowe's. And I'm gonna be repotting this into a larger pot soon. It came in that 10-inch pot down there, but I'm just trying to give it a little bit of time to acclimate a little bit. But that's next. I'll be repotting this next into a larger pot. This keeps shooting off new leaves as well. Over here is my Alocasia Dragon Scales. This is the one that I found at Home Depot. It was a really good buy, very full plant. And I just recently repotted this. It's doing really well out here. From time to time, I do have to trim off some of the leaves because they tend to get a little bit yellow. But it always grows new leaves, so it's doing really well out here. I have another Stromanthi Trio Star over there. Okay, right behind the Stromanthi Trio Star, I have a Calathea Freddie that's doing beautifully outside here. It loves the humidity and the bright and direct sunlight. And I'm gonna bring you over here to another Calathea. This is a Calathea Macoyana. This was also a Home Depot purchase. Got this a while ago in Key West, and it's doing excellent outside here. All right, over here is my Philodendron Goldii. And the original plant actually died off when I had it inside, and so I brought it outside to give it a second chance, and this is all new. So this one's coming back. Over here is a Dieffenbachia Sterling. I had it inside and it was not doing well inside. I guess it wasn't getting enough light. And so I went ahead and I moved it out here, and all of this is new growth. You could see that leaf that's unfurling right there is new. This is new. All right, guys, so you probably remember this. This was also in the video with the Alocasia Zebrina. This is my Golden Goddess Philodendron. I had to cut this all the way back. And here it is now. It's coming right back. Right here is my Dieffenbachia Panther. This is the one that I got from Lowe's, and I did that rescue video, but at the time I didn't repot it. But since then I have repotted it. And it's doing excellent. Love this plant. It's such a beauty. Okay, on the back of this chair, I also have a green Maranta or rabbit's foot Maranta. And it loves it out here, just like the other calatheas. It's doing really well out here. Just have it hanging on the chair. On the other side of the chair, I have my beautiful orchid Kokedama. I got this about a year ago along with the other one that I have inside. And I just recently put this one outside before it actually bloomed. And here it is now. Beautiful, beautiful flowers. This one has larger flowers than the one that I have inside. The one inside has little tiny purple flowers, and this one has larger flowers. Here I have a moonlight philodendron. I've had this for a really long time. I brought this over from my last apartment, and these do really well outside. It's always pushing off new leaves, and the new leaves come out yellow like this, and then eventually they get darker green. On this side is a philodendron Prince of Orange, and this one's a little bit more in the direct sunlight, so it looks sort of battered, but it still pushes out new leaves. If you look right here, this is a brand new leaf, and that's gorgeous. Okay, right here is a Dieffenbachia Puerto Rico. And this is a type of variegated Dieffenbachia. It's very similar to the tropic snow, but not quite. You can see there's a lot more variegation splattered on the sides. I got this plant because I know how these Dieffenbachias shoot off new leaves all the time, even though it didn't look all that great when I first got it. There's another new leaf coming out right here. So this actually has 2 plants in the pot. This one right here is the philodendron. I think this is the imperial green. This is a huge plant and doing well out here. It is getting a little bit of damage on this side because this side actually has more sunlight. So whatever I put over here, it kind of gets messed up a little bit, but not too bad. I actually like to leave the leaves on here like that anyway because it kind of shields the other plants from getting too much sunlight. So let me show you what's underneath this huge leaf. This is a red banana tree. And I got this one from Walmart a while back. There was another plant that died off, but then this one sprouted out. And you can see there's a new leaf coming out on this one. And then right behind that, I have a fiddly fig. And then over here, I'll put the name on the screen because I know it's a really long name, but this is really beautiful and it's putting out all these new leaves. When these leaves get bigger, it's really beautiful, and you see more of this yellow and burgundy in the middle, like this. Then over here is a Euphorbia chocolate drop. I've had this for a couple years now. When I first got it, it was probably down to here. And this is how much it's grown. This is a variegated Euphorbia amic. Got this maybe 3 years ago from Home Depot. I'm not sure if the video will be out yet by the time I post this, but I'm gonna be doing a rehab video on this because ever since we got some flooding in this area, I noticed that it's rotting on the bottom. So I gotta cut this and repot it so I could try to save it. This is my Hoya bilobata. Just got this recently from Lowe's. So this is new. It's a really full plant. I'll be moving this over to the Hoya tree pretty soon. It'll probably get a lot of sun stress over there. This is a Euphorbia lactea that I got a while back from Walmart. Recently repotted this. It's growing to the side. It's really big. It was probably half the size when I first bought it. This is actually one of my largest Raven ZZs that I keep outside. A lot of the new leaves are coming out this bright green color, but these leaves right here you can see are turning black. And then eventually it's gonna get this dark. But all those light green leaves are new growth. I had to cut this back after we had a cold front a while ago. So all of that is new growth. I have a dogtail cactus hanging from the umbrella. I usually have to move this a lot because when it's windy back here, I have to put the umbrella down, but I just have it hanging up there for now. And right up here, I have a Hoya obovata. It's been blooming a lot for the spring. And I also have that arrangement that you guys may have seen in one of my videos where I showed you that aglaonema that I removed from the arrangement and potted up separately. So I have this one here, and then I have one on the front porch. This is doing okay, but it is getting a little more burnt than the one up front is, but it's fine. Has this philodendron Brazil in it and a little palm. I also just rescued this Dieffenbachia sterling from Lowe's. So I still need to treat this and repot it into that pot. I think it might have spider mites. It kind of looks like it. This type of damage is usually from spider mites. So I got to get to this, but it's shooting off new growth, and it also has a little bit of sport variegation. So I'll probably do a video when I rehab this to show you guys what I do. And this is my cacti collection. It's my cacti and succulent collection. I've shown these before, so I'm not gonna show every one of them, but I'll just give you a quick glimpse. There's my cuddly cactus. This is a bear paw succulent. Bishop's cap, and my domino cactus has been blooming like crazy. It already had 4 flowers, and there's a new one that's gonna come out. Also have this rickrack cactus right here. And these are two of my newer cacti and euphorbia. This is a euphorbia Moroccan mound, and this is a Peruvian apple cactus that I got from Walmart. Also have a variegated opuntia right here. So yeah guys, that's my outdoor tropical garden. This is a work in progress. I'm constantly repotting these plants and moving them around. So this is just what they look like right now. But I thought I'd give you a little glimpse into what things look like outside.